begin with this because April posted a video by Michael Hyatt, which was really good, really good. And he started it out, and I want to kick this off this way too. What did I say?
You said April, but I just want to.
Oh, April Hurst, yeah. There are 3 levels of learning and teaching, and I've never heard it exactly like this before. So there's the sage level, which of course is what we all want to be. Yeah, you know, that's knowing, having all the wisdom, knowing everything, having experienced everything, and understanding everything. That's a sage. And then there's the Sherpa. The Sherpa is kind of the mid-level. The Sherpa knows a lot, has experienced some, still has a lot more to learn from the sage. And then there's the student. And I'm going to ask us all tonight to strictly be the student, because when Alex Shahid goes through what he's going to be going through tonight for all of us, I'm going to be taking notes, and I hope every one of you are going to be taking notes. So let's
another thing. Sometimes you'll hear something, or you'll see something, or you read something, or you just overhear something, and at that moment your entire life changes.
Yeah.
I mean, in that moment, and we've all had those moments. I've had a couple. I remember the day I met Theresa, everything in my life changed. I mean, literally, it all changed that day. And I saw a couple of business ideas that I saw. A couple of them was at lunch, and it created literally hundreds of millions of dollars. So tonight, you know, with what Alex is getting ready to tell you, some of you are going to hear something or see something, and it's going to strike something, and it could change your entire life, and not only your life, but for generations to come, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so just so for those of you who haven't had the pleasure, if you've not had the pleasure of hearing in person on you sitting in the audience and Alex Shahid being on stage or whatever, you need to know that this gentleman is young. I don't know how young is he?
I don't know.
He could be our son.
One of the kindest, gentlest guys I've ever met in my life.
He's awesome. We went to Alabama, got to spend some time with him when we were out there with Kevin Moeller and all. And I'm just, you know, great. He's on vacation right now in Panama City with his family. He's taken away precious vacation time, family time, to be with you and me.
He was doing a to-go order at the restaurant.
So we could do this.
I ordered and get him to call.
I know. So yes, he's one of the company's newest $100,000 ring earners. And listen, he's on track to be at 150 by the end of July. And believe me, I believe he'll be there. Yeah. And here's the thing. He told us that he has earned $52,000 in the last 60 days, 2 months. And that's more than he learned. This is what you need to hear. That's more than he earned in 2019. Yep. Do you get that?
And he heard something or saw something or read something that changed it like that. So
yeah,
I don't know if he got through with his.
He says he's on
the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's make sure he's unmuted, Nick, and we will introduce Mr. Alex Shahid and thank him graciously for being with us.
Awesome, guys. Can y'all hear me all right?
Oh, Alex, it's so exciting to have you on here.
I'm excited to be here. Y'all are some of my all-time favorite mentors, and Frank's one of the best storytellers in all of LegalShield. So, you know, I remember spending time with you guys when I was, you know, just my first year or so in the business trying to figure this thing out. So it's an honor to be asked to speak on y'all's call.
How long have you been in the business now?
September of this year will make 10 years.
Okay.
So 9 3/4.
Yeah. So you stuck around and you packed your patience, and now you're taking off like a scalded dog.
Yeah, it wasn't always easy to stick around. But you know, what I figured is that most people quit. And if I didn't quit and I stayed I got in Performance Club, I stayed in Performance Club, and I'd figure the rest out. And this month actually marks 9 years in Performance Club. Wow. That I have not missed. Wow. So yeah, the secret's in the consistency, I believe.
Yeah. Are you in your car?
Mm-hmm. I am. Yeah, the kids are asleep in the back.
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what.
Julia's hanging out. I'm about to go get the to-go order in 20 minutes when we're done with the call.
Hi.
Oh, your lovely wife.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for sharing your hubby.
You're welcome.
Can you hear her?
Yes.
Oh, how'd you hear her?
She said, "Thank you for sharing your hubby."
Oh, she's in my AirPods. How can you hear?
She was talking really loud.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's too funny.
In your head, there's an echo.
Can you hear me all right?
I can't tell you.
Uh-oh. What happened?
That's the cause.
Okay.
I think I can hear y'all. Nick says I can hear fine. All right. I think it's there. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right, cool. So well, I'm gonna share with you guys a little bit about my numbers over the last 6 months, and then I'm gonna talk about how I got there, because I personally believe that being able to see what has happened and then learn how to do it is pivotal. And so I was in third quarter of 2019, and I remember they announced the builder bonus, and I was so excited about getting a bonus. And my builder's bonus for all 3 months of the third quarter of last year, so July, August, and September, was $1,000. And I was like, man, I think I can do better than that. So fourth quarter, October, November, December, was $2,000. And I was like, okay, I doubled it. And it wasn't the 2,000 that I was necessarily disappointed. I remember being on a next level leaders call that I was invited to be on by our president, Mr. Don Thompson. And I remember this lady, and I never heard her name before. She was a grandma. And so I don't know how old she was, but she was probably in her 60s or so. And I just remember that she had gotten about a $12,000 builder bonus. And I'm over here with the $2,000 business builder bonus. And, you know, with all due respect to everybody in different ages and demographics, I was like, there's no way I'm about to let grandma beat me. Like, this is ridiculous. She just got 6 times bigger of a bonus than I got. I'm like, there is no way that she did something that I'm not capable of doing. And I think that there's a point in time, you know, in your career where you see somebody that, I don't want to say less talented than you, but maybe less talented than you. Maybe you look at that person and you're like, how in the heck did that person hit executive director? How in the world did that person get a bigger bonus check than me? How is that person a ring earner with LegalShield? Like, I just don't even understand. Right. And sometimes it's not the Nick Odoms of the world who has, you know, the amazing ability to speak with fervor and just deliver a powerful message. Right. You know, when you hear him talk, you're like, oh, yeah, of course, he's a ring earner. You know, when you hear, you know, April and Rob Hirsch, you're like, oh, of course they're successful, you know, because they're great speakers, trainers, leaders. But when grandma beats you, you know, you just got to reflect for a second and be like, okay, so she's taking care of the grandkids. She's a mom to the kids' mom, right? She's got all these other things going on, and yet she beat me. Like, what else do I have as an excuse to keep me from achieving a significant level of success? And so that was kind of the day of disgust, as Jim Rohn says. And I saw, you know, if that doesn't get worse, you know, I saw Aaron Browning get a $26,000 bonus. And I'm like, I like Aaron. He's a good friend of mine, you know, but dadgummit, he'd only been in the business for 12 months or less, and he gets a 10.5 times bigger bonus than I did. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm done. I'm going to focus on the thing that makes the biggest difference. So what did I do? Being a good student, I called Aaron Browning and I said, hey, bro, what are you doing? Like, what, like clearly what I'm doing is not working. And he goes, here's the deal. He said, how quick do you launch people? And I said, well, we launch them within their first week in the business. And he goes, that's where you're going wrong. I'm like, what do you mean that's where I'm going wrong? He goes, we launch people their first day in the business. He goes, I'll give them overnight to the next day if they give me a bunch of excuses. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? He goes, we were having this call in the afternoon. He's like, well, it's 1:00 right now. He goes, if you just joined my team, I would expect that you have a private Zoom call tonight between 6, 7, and 8:00. I'm like, the same day? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how do they have a chance to learn anything? And he goes, Alex, what could they possibly learn within their first week in the business that they would need to know differently than their first day in the business to invite people to a Zoom? And I thought for a minute and I said, well, you're right. So I'll get into the how-tos of that process in a moment. So that was our shift. We went from launching people their first week in the business to their first day, 24 hours, 48 if they just had some crazy excuse that they couldn't do it that day or the next day. And so here was our numbers. December of 2019, we ended the month with 17 recruits. We were averaging October, November, December in the mid-teens, like 10, 12, December was a big month for us at 17 power team recruits. So we clicked over to January with the shift, and we went from 17 to 25. Now that wasn't, astronomical, but then in February, we went from 25 to 50, and that got a couple people's notice. In March, we went from 50 to like 67. And then in April, we capped that off with 105 power team recruits, triple digit for the month. Last month, we broke a new power team ED. So we did 56 power team EDs in the month of May. And our goal we felt like it was a failure because our goal was 100 again. So we were about 44 short of our goal for last month. But here's the crazy part. We're shooting for 100 this month. Again, 100 power team recruits in the month of June. How do you go from in the mid-teens to doing 50, 60, 100 in a bad month, 56? Like, how does that happen? Well, what we've done is we've focused not only on the launch, but the welcome call to figure out what type of person that we're working with. And so how does that work? What do we do in our welcome calls differently today than we did yesterday? My screen went back to my profile picture because I'm looking at my notes, because I go by my notes every welcome call to make sure I stay on track. So I'm going to give y'all how we do our welcome calls to get people to book their Zooms the same day or the next day. And it's 6 steps. So it's 1 through 6 if you're a note taker like I am. And by the way, let me go back real quick before I go into this and just tell you guys that what was our builder bonus? I almost forgot about that. So $1,000 builder bonus quarter 3, $2,000 business builder bonus quarter 4. We 10x'd our business builder bonus and got a $20,000 builder bonus for quarter 1 of 2020. But you know what the crazy part about that is that we continue to do the same things that we were doing into the month of April and May. And already, now this is based on the triple bonus because we did 105 power team recruits and we did 56. So I'm not great with math, but I think that's somewhere around 161 power team recruits. We need 200 to hit the triple multiplier. I don't think there's anything going to stop us from doing, 40, what is that? 40 something this month. I'll write the math down later. I'm a math magician, not a mathematician. So if I can figure this out, there is no excuse for you guys. It takes pen and paper and an actual calculator for me to run these numbers. But we've locked in right around $36,000 in builder bonus for the first 2 months of quarter 3. We've got the entire month of June to write history, and our goal is 60. So what do we need? $24,000 this month, which means that we need to write, 8, 16, 20. We need to write $8,000 in premium this month as an organization. And let me tell you guys, that was also one of the biggest shifts that we had. Before everything, before the welcome calls, before the private Zooms, I started to do my numbers. I said, okay, if I want to go from a $2,000 builder bonus to a $20,000 builder bonus, what does that take? And I said, well, it's going to take $20,000 in premium if I get a dollar for dollar. And I looked at that and I was like, I really don't believe, just being 100% transparent with you guys, that I could do, what is that? 6, 8,000, 7,000, 6,500 in premium a month. I didn't see myself being able to do that. And so I said, well, if I don't believe I could do 6,500 in premium a month, how am I going to get there? And I said, well, I think I could do about 3,000 or 4,000 in premium a month. So if I can get to 10,000 for the quarter and double it, that's how I get to my $20,000 bonus, because I believe those numbers. Let me tell you guys, I'm all about the power of positive thinking, but I'm also all about Jim Rohn saying if you say that there's no weeds in the garden, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, the weeds will take the garden. And so if you set a goal that you don't believe that you can achieve, you probably won't do it. Not because you're not capable, but because you probably won't put in the work necessary. And so I needed to set a goal that I believe that I could accomplish, and I could see 20,000. I'm like, you need 1,400 to hit executive director. We could get to 3,000. And guys, this is when we were not doing $3,000 in premium a month. I mean, we were hitting executive director 1,600, 1,800, right at 2,000. So I just remember these numbers because they're etched in my mind, because I think the numbers are important before I get into the actual training so you guys can understand. I think we did 1,600 or 1,700 in premium in the month of January. I think we did about 3,000 in premium in the month of February. And then March is really when it took off. Because why? We simply didn't stop doing what we started doing. Oftentimes, the reason I see people plateau is because they stopped doing what they started doing. And so we just didn't stop. And I think we had over 5,600 in premium in the month of March. Took us right to that 10,000 in premium for the quarter. And we earned, including our builder bonus, close to about $50,000 that first quarter of the year. We've earned another $50,000 the last 60 days. So, I mean, y'all do the math. I mean, we're at right around, I think it's about 90,000 for the year so far, literally January 1 to date. So, I mean, I got some pretty lofty goals this year, and this builder bonus program has been amazing because it's allowed people that aspire to a higher level for us to be able to show them how to get there, right? So this quarter, when we pop a $50,000 or $60,000 builder bonus check and make another, God, I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000 in commissions. I mean, it's just amazing what you can do focusing on the simple fundamental things of launching a new associate. So if I have shared with you guys enough money, let me go into how you do it, because I think I've given you enough reasons, about 90,000 or 50,000, 52,000 reasons in the last 60 days on why you should do a killer welcome call. So here's the 6 steps. So number 1 is tell me your 15 to 30 second story. So let's just say that I know I saw Ariel Simone on here tonight. I love Ariel. Let me use her as an example. So I say, hey, Ariel, welcome to the team. Hey, tell me your 15 to 30 second story. So if she's going to tell me her 15 to 30 second story, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that can articulate in a short period of time their background. Because what I'm taking away from give me your 15 to 30 second story, I'm saying that for 2 reasons. Number 1, I really don't want to hear Ariel's whole life story. I love her, right? But if I listen to everybody's life story on every welcome call, I'd be doing 15 or 20-minute welcome calls. I don't have that kind of time. And then I want to see if Ariel can articulate well. So she's going to show me if she could be a speaker or not. And then number 2 is I'm going to share my story. So for those of you that don't know, because I kind of went right into it, I was a 23-year-old college student when I got started. I was studying marketing at the University of Alabama. I was waiting tables and doing personal training to make extra income. I recruited a training client. He said, hey, man, I'd love to work out with you. I'm working on a business project. Would you like to see what I do? I said, sure. He gave me some information about LegalShield, and I was off to the races. Made $3,600 my first month, $24,000 my first year, while I was still in college. And today we earn a strong 6-figure income with LegalShield. That's how my story works. Number 3 is share your team story. So then I'll say, Ariel, as a matter of fact, I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or bragging on myself. I just wanted to share with you, what I've been able to accomplish. But as a team, our organization ranks number 4 in the entire company, over 300,000 associates, for getting people paid and promoted, bringing them on board and helping them create a winning culture. And as a matter of fact, we've done so for the last several years, been in the top 10 of getting people paid and promoted. So we have a formula for doing so. Boom. Done. Number 4 is why LegalShield. So I'm going to ask Ariel, I'm going to say, hey, Ariel, why did you choose LegalShield? And here's what I'm listening for. I'm listening for a strong why. Because if Ariel says, oh, well, my good friend Nick said that I should do this, and he's honestly been bugging me for the last couple months, and he was trying to hit a goal anyway, so I figured I'd go ahead and get signed up. Now, is there anything wrong with that? Not necessarily. Right? Because I've had people get on board before to help somebody hit a goal. But that's not a very strong why. So she's not going to rank very high to me on the she gets it meter, right? But if she was to say to me, well, Alex, honestly, my mom got divorced when I was a kid and she lost the house. And we've been moving from apartment to apartment my entire life, barely making ends meet. I've been sharing a room with my brothers and sisters. And I just can't help but to think that if she'd have known about LegalShield when I was a kid, that we could have kept a roof over our head. My entire childhood would have been different because I could have stayed in the same school with the same friends. And I just think that my whole life would have been better if I would have known about LegalShield. Daggum. That would be a great, can you imagine? I get chill bumps and it's a fake story. I'm just saying, that's the power when somebody shares a strong why, when they understand the value of LegalShield. That's how I know they're going to be a player, because they have a solid why. All right, let me go back to the list. Number 5. So what do you need to make a month for LegalShield to be a win for you? What do you need to make a month for LegalShield to be a win for you? Like, how much? Now, if Ariel was to say, oh, if I could just pay my car payment an extra $300 or $400 a month, I'd be good. Is that a wrong answer? Absolutely not. Because that's Ariel's goal. I'm happy for her, right? But she's probably not going to work extremely hard because she only wants to make 300 or 400. And she says, Alex, I need to make 3,000 or 4,000 like yesterday. I need to get to 6 figures. I need to be at 8 or 10 grand. I know she's going to be willing to put in a significant amount of work, because nobody expects something for nothing. If they want to make that much money, they're going to be busting their butt. And so I'm looking, how is this person money motivated? And look, here's the thing. Some people tell me, well, I really don't know what I want to make. I said, great, Ariel, no problem. One of the things we do is we actually get people to what we call our future leaders of LegalShield position. It's our core rank of manager. That will actually earn you about $1,000 your first month in the business. Would that be all right? She's like, yeah, sure. Right. So if they don't give me a number, I just tell them that we're going to get you to manager. We're going to get you to our core rank and make about $1,000. Because if she can't figure out the number, that's okay. I'll figure it out for her. And then I'll tell her, Ariel, as a matter of fact, in our team, we're typically getting people to the manager position their first week or 2 in the business. If you do it a little bit slow, we'll get you there your first month. But by the end of this week, we can have you at manager. Would you like to know how to do that? And she's going to say, absolutely. Number 6, set time and date for the private Zoom call. So I said, Ariel, really the only way to get you to manager quickly is to do a private Zoom call. That's where you invite friends and family to jump on a link to learn a little bit more about what you do. Would you agree that we make better decisions when we have all the information? And she's going to be like, yeah. And I said, great. Then I want to make sure that I help get you, the people that you know, like, and trust, all the information. I said, your only job is to get people on this Zoom. Our goal is not to pique interest, Ariel. It's to pique curiosity. Interest, it wasn't interest that killed the pig. It was curiosity. We're not trying to get them to buy it, sell it, or join it before they jump on this Zoom. All we want to do is to get them to hop on. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to share with them why you're doing this. So it's going to sound something like this. Hey, Jessica, Sally, Jerry, Lou, whoever. Look, I'm working on a new project that I'm really excited about right now. Tomorrow at 7, can you jump on a Zoom for about 15 or 20 minutes to hear a little bit more about it? Can you do that? And she's like, yeah. And I said, okay, if they ask what it is, say it's a mobile app. And if they ask what the app is about, say it's about protecting people's rights and their identity. And you're done. You understand? It protects their rights and their identity, and you're done. And she's like, yeah, I got it. I said, okay. And sometimes I'll let people know that, hey, look, Jeff Bell, our CEO, was the former CEO of Microsoft's Xbox division. So if they keep pushing, let them know, hey, the guy that launched Xbox Live and Halo is the same guy that's helped launch this app, and we need some new partners, right? So I do give them a few additional arrows in their quiver for their skeptical or inquisitive friends to make sure that they have just enough to jump on that call. And then we have them send out a text to those people as well with a few key points in the text to get them to jump on. And then we have a couple of presenters that absolutely crush those presentations. Myself and 4 or 5 other people on the team are great presenters. And here's what our goal is. Not only to get them to manager as quickly as possible, but to develop them into a double-digit recruiter. Why double digits? All the builders' bonuses are based on 10, 20, 25, or more recruits in a month, right? So let me give you an example. You hit executive director, which is where we all want to be, right? And you do double-digit recruiting, 10, 10, 10. They're going to give you 50% of your bonus dollar for dollar. So let's just say that you wrote $6,000 in premium between you and your team for the quarter. You do 10 recruits a month, they're going to give you a $3,000 bonus. You do 20 recruits a month, they're going to give you a dollar for dollar match, which would be a $6,000 bonus. But if you did 25 recruits a month for a total of 75 for the quarter, just 5 recruits more, they're going to give you a $12,000 bonus at the end of that quarter. Again, that's how we got the $20,000 bonus. And so what I'm doing is teaching people young in the business when they're brand new. I'll say, hey, not only do we want to get you to manager, but one of our secondary goals is to break managers in your team, because when they get an $800 bonus, you get an $800 bonus. So for every manager that you break, it's about $1,000 to you. But more importantly, we need to get you to double digits. They're like, double digit what? I'm like, double digit recruiting. We need to get you to 10 plus recruits a month. Ultimately, Ariel, where you want to be is that 20 to 25 recruits a month range, because when you do that, you unlock some other goals that as you qualify at the executive director position this next quarter, because we do quarterly bonuses. So I'm teaching them when they're new in April, May, and even this month in June, hey, we have 30 days to warm up. We have 60 days to warm up and get to that executive director position so that you can cash in these big bonuses. So I'm painting a bigger picture for them quarter to quarter, and people don't have a problem with that. When they join in the month of May and they're like, okay, I've got 60 days to ramp up. Like, we got a guy that joined, he's 26 years old. In his first 20 days, he put about 700 or 800 in premium on the books. He hit manager. There's another guy on his team that's a stone throw for manager, and then another one halfway there. And they hit 12 recruits their first 20 days in the business. And I said, man, you did an amazing job. I said, this month we get you to senior manager, and then we duplicate that same thing in July, and you're an executive director. I said, now this month, who on your team are we getting to double digits? He goes, Chris. We're getting Chris to double digits. I said, great. Anybody else? He goes, yeah, Matt. Matt wants to be at double digits as well. I said, great. So now Chris and Matt were shooting for double digits. What does that mean for my buddy Will? That means he's going to be at 20. I said, now, Will, remember when I told you we need to be at 25 plus a month for you to maximize your bonuses? I said, do you think he can get 5 outside of out of Chris and Matt? He goes, absolutely. So I just taught Will, who's brand new in the business, how to get to 25 recruits a month by breaking managers, creating a manager factory, or what we call it, manager mania, so that in the month of July, when he qualifies at executive director, he knows exactly what to do. He already knows he needs to do about 3,000 in premium a month, a total of 10,000 for the quarter, 3,300 a month, 10,000 for the quarter, so that he gets a $20,000 bonus in the month of October. Why is that important? For the leaders on the line, you want to have people running for 25 recruits a month and double-digit recruiting in their organization, because by them doing that, you pop $40,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 builder bonuses, because I was chasing Aaron Browning. right? And he got a $26,000 builder bonus and I got a $20,000. But the thing that bit me in the butt again is he got a $56,000 builder bonus quarter one of this year. So I'm still chasing him. I say all that to say is that it takes a day of disgust to find somebody that accomplished something that you know that you can do. It takes a decision followed by the tracking of the numbers to get there. It takes, number 3, creating manager mania. How many managers are you going to create? Number 4, how many double-digit recruiters are you going to have within your organization? Stop thinking about being a double-digit recruiter yourself. How many double-digit recruiters are you going to create? Who are you talking to, no matter what their rank in the business, about getting to double digits? And I had a guy, Chris, on Will's team last month. He was at 4 recruits. And I said, Chris, we need to get you to double digits. He goes, why do I need to be at double digits? Now, there's no financial incentive for Chris to be at double digits. But what I told him is, Chris, do you want to be a future leader in this business? And he goes, absolutely. I said, well, you'll be in the top 10% of builders in this company when you get to double digits. And I said, if you want to be at the top of this company, this is where it starts with. Everybody wants to know how you create $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month. Chris, I made $52,000 in the last 60 days. Everybody wants to know how to do that. You're the beginning of that story. That's why it's important we get you to double digits, because this is where it starts. And so when you treat double digits like it's a 6-figure income mark, that's when you start breaking more $50,000 and $100,000 earners. I have no doubt we'll have a handful of people on our team that get a $10,000 or $20,000 plus builder bonus check in the third quarter of this year, and we have several that are on track to get $1,000 plus, multi-$1,000 bonuses in their second quarter, and it'll be one of our biggest bonuses yet. And so, guys, you want to paint that vision. You want to make sure that you're painting a bigger vision. If somebody's doing 25 recruits a month, 75 for the quarter, and they're on track to do $3,300 a month, $10,000 in premium for the quarter, that's the $50,000 ring. A new person can come on, earn $50,000 in their not their first 90 days, but in 90 days by hitting that executive director position and putting up those 75 recruits. That's not going to happen unless you're focused on developing managers. That's not going to happen unless you're talking to other people in your team about becoming double-digit recruiters. And so that's how we built a sustainable platform that continues to grow our business builder checks. And so, guys, I hope that was valuable for you tonight. There's a lot of different trainings you can do. We could have talked about a lot of different things, but I wanted to give you the outline so that you can coach, grow, and develop over the next several weeks, so that on July 1st, you take that seriously as the start of the third quarter, and you don't settle for anything less than a $10,000 and up business builder bonus check.
Wow, that was awesome. I want to see if anybody's got any questions or comments.
Yeah, I have one first.
Okay.
Alex, when you first started this, when you finally got disgusted enough to come up with this, and we took all the notes on this, the 6 questions
Sure.
and all that stuff and the answers. How many Zooms did you start out doing, like your first month? How many Zooms were you doing that first month? And then how many Zooms are you doing now a day? Like how many Zooms in your team?
Yeah,
not you, but your team.
I think when we first started, it wasn't a team that was doing it. It was me that was doing it.
Okay.
And I think I was doing a couple a week.
Okay.
Yeah, just like, a handful, maybe like 3.
So you were personally doing them. The company's doing some, and then you were personally doing a couple.
I don't know if the company was doing Zooms at that point. They weren't. We were doing this before it was a company thing.
Okay.
Because Aaron Browning said that's how he was doing it. So I followed his lead. And I was doing about 3, maybe 4 in a 7-day stretch.
Okay.
So then we started finding a couple other leaders. I started doing Zooms for them, and they started liking it. They started, really growing. And so then I think we got up to about 7 to 10 a week. So we were averaging 1 or so a day. And then it's like the floodgates happened. Then we started doing 2 or 3 a day. And I was doing them all. And finally, I told some of the leaders, I said, hey, I can't keep doing this for your team. If you want to have this type of growth, then you need to be doing 2 to 3 Zooms a day. And so they started doing 2 to 3 a day. So we hit a little bit of a
What
lull.
happened? What happened if they weren't able to do that? They felt like they couldn't do it. You keep doing it until you found somebody underneath them that could.
Correct.
Okay.
I was mining for gold to find somebody that could.
Yeah, I just want to point that out, that you don't have to stop with that person. If they're not the person that's going to do it, you keep going until you find somebody on the team that can do it.
Exactly. And so, even a dud can introduce me to a stud that can do the Zooms. Okay. And I'll coach that stud to do those Zooms, because what I'll do is I'll have them do the intro. Hey, intro me on this Zoom. Here's my edification points. I'll let them do the intro. Hey, you do the membership. I'll do the money. Hey, you do it all. I'll listen and critique you afterwards.
Okay.
And so that's how we started to develop more presenters. And today, I'm talking to Will and some of these new people about, now that you've hit double digits, it's time that we start integrating you into the presentation. And so I would say on average right now, let me just go back to our biggest month. In the month of April, we were probably averaging about 5 to 7 Zooms a day.
Wow.
So 150 a month.
I've never really done that. I think weekly on those. But I guess that would be about right.
About 150. Instead of doing one meeting a week, you got 150 presentations going on.
Correct. So we went from one briefing a week to, 3, 5, 7 Zooms a day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we'll never go back to a weekly briefing, because I think we need it for connectivity, but I don't think these Zooms will ever go away.
Yeah. Well,
by any means.
Real success compression there. And if somebody wants to earn $10,000 a month, do you do that but with numbers, or you do that with managers? Say, if you want to earn $10,000 a month, then we need to break how many managers?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we started discussing, because with our compensation plan with LegalShield, I don't want to say that it's confusing, but it's like, well, if you want to make $10,000 a month, what level are you? How much? There was too much math going on. I'm a math magician, not a mathematician. Right. I can't do that. But I know that when you recruit a new associate and help them get to manager, not only do you get an $800 matching bonus, but you're going to earn a couple $100 in commissions and overrides for about $1,000. So if somebody says, Alex, I want to make $3,000 this month, I would say, great. You need to get to manager. You're going to make your first 1,000, and then you need to help 2 people get to manager, and that's how you'll make your second 2,000 to get to a total of 3,000. They said they want to get
right there.
Yep. If they say they want to get to 10,000, they need to hit manager, break 9 managers. Very simple. And we focus on, for every manager is $1,000 in income.
Perfect.
See, that's everybody can understand that. Everybody can understand that.
Yeah, y'all like that?
Yeah, I think that I wanted you to really clarify that. The other thing is that as many Zooms as you're doing a day, that is real success compression. You're doing in 1 month what most people do in 2 years as far as presentations go. So, and I'm telling you, when you do that, that's how we've always done it. We said, okay, what is somebody doing? Let's just triple that. But we can't triple it by ourselves. We got to pull some team members in doing it. Boy, that is about as clear as you get right there.
I know.
I wouldn't even worry about the premium stuff. I'd just do the manager stuff. So,
yeah. It's strong.
That is really strong.
Team, anybody got any comments or questions? Speak up.
Yeah, do the comments too.
And then we're going to let him get back to his family. You did make it simple. Yeah. I love it.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey,
Rob.
Yes, sir. Hey, Alex, man, this is my guy. We talk all the time. Again, amazing training. Thank you for pouring into our teams and just laying it out, making it simple. And you're really good at that, right? Sometimes, even myself, sometimes we can complicate it, but you made it so simple. And that's why it's duplicating the way it is. It's all about manager. That's really what it's all about. I mean, that's really what drives it all. All right, turn it back to you all.
No, that's good.
And here's the thing, Rob. Let me make a comment on that, because we went from 17 to 25 to 50. So it took 90 days to move the needle significantly with our recruiting numbers. And we weren't even really focused on manager then. We were just focused on Zooms, and getting in Performance Club. We just made the manager shift a month or so ago. So those numbers haven't even really come into effect yet. But so now we're not even focusing on fast start. We're focusing on manager. And y'all may hear Ella in the back. I might need to start driving in a minute to get her to stop crying.
Yeah, you got a feeder is what you got to do.
Oh,
That's
we'll let
probably
you
what
go,
it is.
Alex.
We're gonna let you go, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate you pouring into the team, and I know everybody loved it. I hope they took copious notes, and it really wasn't a lot of notes to take. It's six questions and stuff. But
Alex, this is Elizabeth Gardner. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I have one question for you before you go. How has this affected your PC for Life bonus?
You know, we're still within the first 60 days, really,
Okay.
of doing this, and
Right.
so I don't expect to see a big change for 90 days. But we have a comma in the check every month, and I pay my mortgage with it, so we're somewhere upwards of $1,600 to $1,800 a month in Performance Club. But I really do think that this will probably get it to that maybe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range. I really don't know yet. That's going to be an ancillary benefit of focusing on this. So I'll probably have a better answer in July or August.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
Yeah. And
You got it.
Alex, you teach these people what it takes to get the manager, right? I mean, you go into a little detail on, okay, here's what the people have to do to get the manager.
3 recruits and 8 combination plans.
See, that's it. If you do that, you take each person that you bring on that really wants to build it and do that, they're a manager. And now you can make that $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month.
And they're focused on 3 recruits instead of 1 recruit and 90 in premium.
Right.
I'm like, hey, 3 recruits and 8 combination plans. I said, so make sure, Frank, you want a combination plan is $49.90. That's $50 in premium. 50 goes into the $400 in premium you need for manager 8 times. So I will say that to them. That way they understand it's $400 in premium, so that when they write a $34.90 or $39.90, which is an individual ID with an ID shield and the $1 million policy, and it doesn't quite add up, I say, remember, it was the 8 combination plans. We can make it up on the back end. No big deal. So I just want them to know that on the front end so they know what they're shooting for.
That's excellent.
Yeah. We've got some brand new people Trish and I recruited on the phone tonight listening in, and I just wanted to hear how simple this really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex, I know you got to go, buddy. Thank you so much. And your wife.
Thank you, guys.
What did you order? I know you ordered. What did you order?
I got the seafood platter. I got 2 orders of crab claws and some fish sticks for the kids.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Our team appreciates it.
Y'all have a great rest of your vacation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You got it.
Good night now.
Bye-bye.